I think, can I introduce Dr. Srinivasan? Anyway, he is my book, the second story is about Dr. Srinivasan. He is the man behind Jeevan Blood Bank and Jeevan Stem Cell and Surya Sambandham.
Hi.
Now he's also not only an entrepreneur, he's also a mentor now. And this is Sharad Babu. His story, I think now there are very few people who do not know Sharad Babu's story. In fact, when I planned the book, his was the first story that I decided Sharad Babu is going to be there in my book. So because when I wrote his story first on Rediff, it was such a huge hit, the way Sharad Babu came up and faced all the struggles and became a food king. And Karthikeyan Vijay Kumar, he is 2019, he is for youngsters who are looking for jobs. He is also a marathon runner and also a social entrepreneur, helping poor students who are in corporation school. This is actually the one criteria I looked for when I wanted to write this book, that entrepreneurs were doing something for society, not just making money. So that was one thing I really wanted. I wanted to pick entrepreneurs who were doing that. Karthikeyan Vijay Kumar is one person. Dr. Soundarya Rajesh. I think women should look at her because she is helping women who are trying to find a second career, those who take break after pregnancy or some reason, and after that actually if they are finding difficult, in fact confused, she is the person who is going to help them. And you have gone. This is Arun Murugan of Snack Expert. He's the snack expert. He wants everybody to have healthy snacks. He's the man behind that, and agriculturist. And Ajit Narayanan there. He is trying to give hours to the autistic and differently abled children, doing something great for society. And Padmanabhan. He is just 23 years old. This is the second story for my book. Actually, after Sharad Babu, I decided that Padmanabhan is going to be there in my book. And Padmanabhan, even he actually, as an 8th standard student, he listened to Abdul Kalam, and then he was so inspired that he wanted to be part of making India a developed country by 2020. And with that, he decided to be a social entrepreneur, and some of his projects are extremely praiseworthy, no food waste. And actually in our society we are wasting a lot of food, and here is a man who is trying to take that food which is being, it's not untouched food, and giving to the people who are hungry. And there are other projects also, Edu Dharma, which is a crowdfunding project for economically backward students. And there are so many such projects. If you ask him, he's always full of ideas. That is Padmanabhan. And then there is Siddharth. Siddharth, yeah, just like you see him, he's a Swadeshi, just 25 years old, but he's a Swadeshi who is selling khadi jeans online. He said that he is doing it not to make money, but to help poor weavers in India. At least his aim is, his desire, ambition is to help at least one village become self-sufficient and help the weavers. That is Siddharth. Other than pursuing MBA and civil service and all that, he is doing that. These are the entrepreneurs who have come here now. Of course, Sharad Babu I said. And if you have any questions, for
Okay, I think
Lisa?
there's so many of them. There's so many of them, and each doing very differently. And I think ages from 23 onwards. I mean, this is.
And the senior most,
I mean,
Dr. Srinivasan.
I'm seriously feeling very ashamed actually, but does not matter actually. Probably by this inspiration, I can also decide that from this year I will do something socially relevant. Okay? Because when these books which are which celebrate this entrepreneurship, I always have this question: why celebrate entrepreneurs who are making money at my expense? Okay, but this is not that kind of a crowd, you know. Who are actually they won, as you rightly said, they have chased a dream. They have won and they are giving back something to the society. Actually, yeah. So the Raj is a very popular person in the HR fraternity. He's running this one. At the same time, there are a lot of value additions he does, which normally not other people are doing. It's certainly exceptionally different from these people. So I would like to see whether is there any question from others,
Even
any one of this, any one of
okay.
this. But my question to any one of this, please, can you please answer me as to what makes you feel that you should, what made you feel that you should do something different like this? Like, you know, there's not, maybe you are definitely making some money otherwise, but in your this pursuit, maybe not like, I don't know, you are really making some money also in this. When I talk about social entrepreneurship, it is also for profit or it is strictly not for profit? Can anyone answer this? Yeah. Sharad, please. Yeah. Can I ask
when it is social entrepreneurship, it is strictly for no profit. But the thing is, the entrepreneur, the social entrepreneur himself or herself, can withdraw salary for their livelihood, because otherwise, life becomes very difficult for them. They also have a family. They also have they also have lots of commitments and things like that. But always, I follow a pattern where I earn money in not a social venture, but I try to put some part of whatever I earn in the for-profit venture to a social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So that it becomes easy for me also, to pursue things.
That's what I thought actually. There's a difference between social service and social entrepreneurship. And we see great examples here where you can make money while doing something for the society. Can I have some inputs from you, please? Yeah. What do you do and how? What is it about?
Yeah, I actually run a software company. The company name is called Orangescape. We make software and we sell it online. Mostly we have customers from the US. We have like 10,000 customers and we have customers across 121 countries. But we sell everything out of India. We don't have anybody outside of Chennai. Everything happens from India, but we have worldwide customers. That's what we do. What was the question?
No. Okay. So, when did you start?
This was a long journey. This is my third iteration. The first product we did was in 2005.
How many is there any competition in what you do?
Of course, there is quite significant competition. So without competition, if there is no competition, the general thing is...
How are you different from the competition?
In terms of, we create really beautiful products which are simple so that anybody can use it. We don't make it complex. And that's one of our key advantage.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, now any questions from anyone else? Yeah, please. Yeah. Huh?
I have a question to the author.
Yeah.
Shobha, tell us, one common trait among all the entrepreneurs. What is the common one, which is a trend which is very
Yeah, that is the title. Everybody actually, all of them have dreams, and how they chased it is that is the different way. But one thing actually I have, because in this book from the late 70s to that is the pattern actually I gave, just to give a perspective to how entrepreneurship was. So in the 70s and 80s to early 2000 and then today's startup. So in that, for example, Dr. Srinivasan or Dilip Kapoor's and Brett Mahadevan's time, there was no word entrepreneurship was also not there. So from there till now, one thing actually we find that even though there is this ecosystem, everything is there, the way they think, the way they approach problem, the way they face challenges, it's all the same. But the dream is something the same, which I found in all of them.
Yeah, can I ask a question to Soundriya Rajesh?
You're in HR. I think, what are those things? How do you, this flexi HR is what I think I saw in your this one. Now, how is it different from any other HR organization, your HR organization?
First of all, hearty congratulations, Shobha, for the book. I think it is an amazing exercise, not only to feature all the entrepreneurs and therefore doing a service to entrepreneurs like us, but also to, I think, inspire future generations to see, the different ideas that such entrepreneurs actually bring, to the table. To answer your question, Mr. Vijay, it's so Avatar is an organization that was started about 15 years ago, and we are actually 3 organizations, and I can relate to what Sharath was mentioning about, not everything, not all your, working capital or profits or operating costs can come from a complete not-for-profit mechanism. So there are 3 different organizations. One is Avatar Career Creators, which is a talent strategy consulting firm, which was the legacy organization that began working in the space of women's workforce participation. The second one is Flexi Careers India, which is a company that's a social enterprise, and there we work, to make sure that India's population of women professionals, of people who are actually working in the corporates, women, that goes up. Today, that's at about 24.5%. It means of 100 employable women in India, and this includes blue collar, white collar, it includes construction laborers, it includes the rural working women. Of all of that, can you imagine only 24.5% of women are even economically employed, and they are earning money. So that's a crying shame for a country like ours, simply because of the fact that women outnumber men as far as education is concerned. But then the fact is they do not have sustainable methods of leading careers. So that's the second organization. And the third one is the Avatar Human Capital Trust, and I was really kind of very impressed with what you spoke about, I didn't get his name, Karthikeyan, and the fact that he works in the space of corporation school children, because one of our flagship projects is called Putri, and we work with corporation school girls, and we work to make sure that they become career intentional, so that they then have the the drive to pursue a career, to pursue a job, to become financially independent, and to actually contribute to the GDP of the country. So all these organizations, these 3 companies, are in the space of ensuring that women really matter to the country, and women managerial talent makes a difference. So that is the work that we do. So thank you so much once again, Shobha, for giving us an opportunity to be featured. Thank you, Vijay, for your question, and great to meet all of you. Thank you.
Come again. Okay, now over to you. Now, of course, Padmanabhan, Ajit, and Dr. Srinivasan and Sharath, I think we will hear from them when the minister comes, I think from there onwards. But meanwhile, what made you start 2019? Okay, and how do you make money, and what is the social value of generating? Well, the main reason why I thought I'll ask this question is to answer that. As there's something common between all these people, as you see, they have got 2 or 3 different ways. One for making money, another one for the social service. They're clearly giving back something, almost concurrently, not just waiting to make money and then giving it. They're doing both together. So I thought, let me highlight that is what I thought. Is it okay with everyone, right? Thank you.
Okay. I started almost 10 years ago. I started a company almost 10 years ago. My father is an entrepreneur, so I was always brought up thinking there's a huge pressure that I have to outdo him in some sense. And in some ways, he also sort of incepted the idea that if I don't start a company, I'll probably be a big failure in life. So that is like that's how I grew up. And I come from Coimbatore, and where everybody is an entrepreneur. Most people there just looking to start a wedding. So 2019 was the company that helps. Now we have over 20,000 companies and close to 10 lakh students, college students using our platform. It's a platform basically, the idea for 2019 started in 2010. So we went to several colleges and found that students sort of don't get a chance to go work with the company during college. I went to Vitasta there. Our college themselves gave an opportunity to work with the company for 6 months. So we realized why aren't the other college students not getting this chance? So we started, I think the first few years were very hard, very few companies were using and we didn't really know how to even have a revenue model around it. We tried several revenue models. Now we have so close to 20,000 companies and 10 lakh students using, and the way you're asking the revenue model is we have a certain tier of, there are, the students go free in terms of getting internships. They don't have to pay us any fee. So a tier of companies pay us a fee. They recruit in massive numbers. We have some specific tools to help them. So a tier of companies pay us a fee, and that's a significant revenue. And a lot of companies, we allow them to use it for free because that gives us the network to build. And there is also an online courses component that we have built. And again, significant number of courses are given away free, and certain courses for which we send out kits to students. We send out kits when they build specific electronic projects and things like that. So when they do those, for those kit-based courses, we have a fee. So there are certain, again, a certain tier of, we give a lot of it for free, and a certain tier that pays a revenue. So the other question that was interesting, because you were asking how do social entrepreneurs sustain. So in my mind, it's very clear. You do not ask. I've been part of a non-profit organization called Deepam, where we now teach. We've taught close to 1,500 children in the last 9 years. It's our 9th year now. So it's completely run by volunteers. There's really no administrative expense, so to speak, because all of us. We've had over the years over 500 people work voluntarily every weekend. Nobody has really taken any salary, so to speak, out of it. The only money that we get just goes on to either organizing some events for children or getting some books, getting some computers for them. So that's really how we pretty much run Deepam. There's no administrative cost. But I've also felt over time that you cannot just go or reach out to people asking for donations all the time. For me, the inspirational model is always the way Tatas have run and the way Bill Gates has run. They've all made the money in their for-profit companies, found a way to channelize the non-profit. That's the only way I believe that any non-profit organizations can be run. If we cannot really go with a begging bowl and ask for donations, it's not eventually sustainable. We can do it for a few years, but if we really need to go out and make an impact, create a for-profit company, make the money from it. There are several people wanting to, pay for several products and services. You can make the money out of that and put the money into non-profit. I think there are people who've already shown us the model. We just need to go figure ways to do it.
What is exactly one of the persons featured in the book is Hotbread's Mahadevan. You must be knowing Hotbread. So what he told me was he wants to make as much money as he wants because he has to give it to the society. So that is the reason why he is making money, so that he is able to give to society for other projects. For so many other projects he is running, like Karthikeyan said, going from one side, from your business you make money, and on the other side you give it back to society.
Is there anything like a political entrepreneurship?
That's a good idea.
Your views?
I think that there may be. What do you say? What do you say?
Oh, yeah, I think it must be there. I think it's quite attractive as an enterprise.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sharath has tried.
Yeah, please.
So there is no political entrepreneurship?
Actually, politics comes under social. Somehow it went under business. So there is nothing called political entrepreneurship. So politics means it's a social service. So it's not happening most of the time, but that's how it has to be. So suddenly some people might think, oh, there is political entrepreneurship. So just to clarify that. And also one more point I would like to say is, if you see at least Soundarya sister or myself or Karthikeyan, whatever venture we take, we try to solve some problem, social problem. And even within the for-profit company, we have some social angle to it. Say for example, in terms of other careers. So lots of housewives sitting idle at home, they wanted their potential to be tapped. They want their talents to be shown in some way or the other, and keep them busy as well and earn some money for the family. So that social angle actually brings out a business idea. And for me, it is like to give jobs to the needy people. And for him, he was in BITS. Even I am from BITS. So we have 6 months training in a company, and the college does that for past 30-40 years. So might be he thought other college students also should get the same opportunity. So even within the business also there is a social angle to it. And most of the time myself and Soundarya sister meet in functions, college, under 6 students. That's where we used to meet. So that is also a part of our work to give back to the society, so that more students become entrepreneurs, and it is helpful for the country. Inspiring more students. So I've been to more than 1,500 functions so far, and more than 15 lakh people I have addressed so far. So in a way, I feel even if one become entrepreneur out of that crowd, it's like I feel very good for that day. My day is made. So in that sense, otherwise if it's only money, then we could have not gone to all these functions, and we could have just focused on our business, and maybe we could have done much more better. So that's another thing which is common in certain entrepreneurs. Even Hartford Mahadevan sir, he says that he wants to earn more money to give back. Polaris Arun Jain, sir, I know him because I worked in Polaris. So I had a campus placement from BITS in Polaris. So that was the time where most of the companies, top tier companies, said we are postponing the joining date of the students by at least a year. But he said, he wrote a letter saying that as a company we have committed, and we want to stick to that, and we want to proceed. So my education was over in May 15th or 20th. I joined the company in August. So that really helped, that social angle which he kept in mind. So lots of people are dependent on that. So.
Siddharth, can you say why you decided about your khadi denim and working for Swadeshi?
One thing was, I was trying to...
You can come here. So Shobha, you can ask him to come here to the front. You can ask him to come to the front so I can at least capture all this.
Yeah.
You can.
No, over speaking, they can come in the front.
It was for the past 3-4 years I've been wearing khadi, and I thought maybe I should ask others to wear khadi too. But then most people said khadi, it is difficult to maintain because you'll have to starch it, and if it's white, then you'll have to add whitener, and also maintenance is difficult, and once you starch it, you'll have to press it. So I had no intention to become an entrepreneur, and I still don't know how I'm here. As Shobha ma'am rightly puts it, I am an accidental founder of the institute. It just happened. So what happened was, when I was traveling in Mumbai, I happened to go to a khadi bhandar there. And I found a notice saying that there is something called khadi denim. So I went behind that, and I found that it was being made in Rajkot by a Spinners and Weavers Association. It is an NGO funded by Gujarat government and Union of India. So I asked them, so they told me that they were just making the fabric and they're not into garments. So when I felt the fabric, I thought it is the best way to promote khadi, because starching was not required and pressing was also not required, so you can just use it like your normal jeans. So I thought, okay, why not take fabric from them and start making jeans. So I didn't have any this thing in fashion, or because for the last 2-3 years I'm like this. I've not been following trends in fashion or anything. So what I usually do is I ask friends for latest fashion, or I just go to Instagram and see what is new in fashion, and then ask my tailor to make it like that.
You also told me that it is for that you want to at least one village you want to help.
That is so now the thing is, khadi denim is expensive. So and mine, unlike what others are doing, I don't have 2-3 this thing. So it is, though it is a social entrepreneur, this is for profit. But then what I decided was, like you were pointing out, you cannot wait till the time you make a lot of money and then give to the society. So what I have decided is, for every sale, I'll give 10% for some cause. And as of now, till we started in April until now, it has been for a cause an initiative called Code Red, which provides sanitary napkins to underprivileged women in Kerala. And so for me, Swadeshi is something which is very important. So I told them the pads shouldn't be of, say, a Stay Free or a Whisper. So we found out Kudumbashree in Kerala, which is a government of Kerala funded women, all women initiative. So they are making sanitary pads at 1/10 the price of corporates. So all the 10% which we give them to Code Red buys from Kudumbashree and supplies it to orphanages and old age homes where pads are required. That is one thing. Then another thing what I thought is, khadi denim, since it was expensive, I thought we cannot run a khadi business saying we want to promote khadi with just denim, because denim is expensive. I thought maybe slowly we should venture into non-denim khadi also. And only then will the idea of really bringing back a village, a weaving or spinning village happen, because denim is made only in Rajkot as of now. So how much ever we purchase, it is only that one village which is going to benefit. So if we want to take, say, every village in a state or something where spinning and weaving was happening, we must venture into non-denim also. So that is what I'm thinking. Another thing what I thought was, for every item of clothing that Desi Dude sells, I will plant a tree sapling in Kerala. That is my hometown in Palakkad. So that the cotton which we get from the trees, again we are planting a tree, though it is not a cotton tree, but then still that cycle is complete in that sense at least. And yeah, that is about the institute.
Can I ask a
Yes,
question?
yes.
You said denim is made only in one village in Rajkot.
Yes.
Now, if you can promote it as a niche product to, to fashion conscious people, and if it is is it a special technology? Can it be replicated in other villages?
Replication, I think it can, but then they started almost 2 years back, and I think every district has at least one spinning and weaving institute or an NGO. So there are almost 620,000 villages, and till now only Rajkot, one village, has done that. So I think R&D is a problem in that, because they had a very good backing from a fashion designer based out of Delhi, and Arvind Mill, which is world's largest denim producer. So these three people, they came together and did the R&D and found out khadi denim. So I think there is something difficult to it, which is preventing others from replicating or something.
The machinery must be very costly.
No, machinery, since it's khadi, it's hand spun and hand woven, hand dyed. So it is not with the machinery, there's something with the yarn. So that we'll have to find out. But then they are initially Arvind used to buy from them, from the same village people. So that was quite sustainable. Then what happened was Arvind's demand started increasing, and since this is hand spun and hand woven, the lead time was going way beyond, and Arvind just stopped buying from them. So as of now, they tell me that we are the biggest customers for them.
I think
Yeah, and I think we buy so less, and this is there because I think really they need people to buy.
Breaking news, I think I won't lose.
Shobha, can you have someone like,
Actually, I want to
answer this question?
Dr. Srinivasan. Now,
Srinivasan, yes.
Jeevan Red Band definitely does not have any
Like, a well-run enterprise.
But how I understand it's a
well-run
not-for-profit.
well-governed enterprise.
You can ask.
No. You can find out who can answer. You got the question, right?
It's supposed to be over. Can you wait for 10 minutes to...
Okay, we'll wait.
Okay.
I think
We will talk about demonetization.
Standing outside. The ministry was good on the